What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Gimme presented by BetMGM. And as Jason Sobel likes to say, why the Gimme? Because it's good. I'm Collin Wilson, your host today, and I have monster shoes to fill for Jason, especially considering my fiance makes me putt from 2 inches out. There are no gimmies whatsoever. So the good news is I'm joined by two all-stars. This is a big chore, but I've got some help today. I've got Amanda Rose, who's actually on site at the Travelers, and I've got Justin Ray, who is at the Women's PGA Championship. Guys, how you doing?
Good. How are you? Are you excited to be here, Collin?
Well, I love betting on golf. I think that's the thing. Is like people are like, Jason's not here, Colin's here.
Yeah.
Collin bets on golf a lot. This is a sport where trends matter, numbers matter. It's statistical like baseball. Something that happened 2 years ago on a course can apply to today. I think, you can tell when players get out of their swing. I think golf is one of the most underappreciating betting sports out there. Because when I watch the NBA, I can't really tell you that whatever event happened on night A happens on night B. So thanks for having me, guys. And I really look forward to hearing everything we got to say about the Travelers.
You say they're good shoes to fill, but they smell terrible. So
I met Jason once. We met at the Action office in New York. And I believe his first words out to me were, "Who am I taking to win the national championship in college football this year?" And I was like, "Well, we're going to be best."
That's his style. Yeah. Straight up. Yeah.
Every week we have the Gimme Prop presented by BetMGM. This week, it's Bubba Watson 6-1 to make the top 10, and that is boosted just for our viewers through BetMGM. So head on over to BetMGM and take advantage of that prop, especially when we start to tell you about what Bubba Watson has done here before, and then especially if you're a gambler and you figure out how BetMGM treats their bettors as far as dead heat rules and ties. This is a huge bet. So go and make the prop. BetMGM Bubba Watson 6-1. We're going to go ahead and start off with, if you had to make one bet, what is the bet you were going to make? Amanda, I'm going to start with you.
It was going to be my first bet in my perfect portfolio, and that's a Bubba Watson top 10. As you said, I mean, he's won 3 times here. He loves this place. He got his first win here. We all remember the first time we saw Bubba cry, and he hasn't stopped. So I like Bubba Watson for a top 10.
I like that because, Bubba and I both like the Waffle House a lot. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to get everybody at the Action Network who's from the North to eat more Waffle House, and that fills in with Bubba. Justin, what's the one bet you're looking at?
Well, first of all, I don't trust anybody who hasn't eaten a Waffle House after midnight. It's one of the many principles I live by. But one of the bets I really like this week, BetMGM has a prop bet, best player from the rest of the world, basically the International Presidents Cup team, Australia, Asia. Mark Leishman at plus 1,200. I really like that value. Players won here before. One of the better players on the PGA Tour from 50 to 125 yards, year in, year out. We're going to talk about the importance of that statistic coming up. So I like that bet.
Yeah, I love both of those. I'm going to go with something pretty easy. I want to leave here with green check marks. So I'm going to go with top Italian, Guido Migliozzi, plus 110 to be the top Italian. Now, the great news is there's only one other person for competition. That's Francesco Molinari. I love Molinari. I love the run he had at the Masters. Everybody remembers him for what him and Tiger did a couple years ago. And his game is coming around, but he hasn't proved it on this course. He is getting better. But Guido is, how should I say this? Bollente caldo. He's boiling hot right now at the U.S. Open and the European Tour. So I'm going to take Migliozzi as the best Italian as my one bet to start with. Let's go ahead and segue in to betting at the TPC Riverlands, the odds for the Travelers Championship, odds provided by BetMGM. If we take a look at the board, Bryson DeChambeau, 12-1 after a horrendous back nine I could go on forever about last week. DJ showing back up, previous winner here, 12-1. Patrick Cantlay, 14-1. Brooks Koepka also fell short after just a tremendous back nine from a ton of players last week at the major. He's at 16-1. Paul Casey, there's lots of success here, 16-1. And Patrick Reed, 22-1. That is the top of the leaderboard. I think before we get into how our results were last week, I will say you guys and Jason, it wasn't me. Before we get into the Travelers, let's take a look at the portfolios from the U.S. Open last week, where we had, balls and trees. balls next to cases of beer. Possibly one of the most loaded leaderboards I've ever seen at the turn in my entire life. Let's go ahead and start with Amanda's portfolio last week. Hey, we have some money here. Xander top 10 plus 165. Brian Harman top 20 plus 260.
I know, I told you guys with the Brian Harman, I said he is going to sneak into that top 20, and he did it. And I have actually more top 20 bets this week. I want to start with the Bubba top 10. Like I said, he's won here thrice. Like, he knows how to play this event. It's a really, it's a huge ball striker course here. And I know we've been saying that a lot lately, but that's what we've been getting. I mean, you need guys that are wedging it close, hitting it close with long irons, and just hitting it well with long irons. So this is going to be a tough course. So I do love Bubba. His shot shape works for this course so well. Doc Redman, I think he's really, really close. I was watching him today on the range. I liked what I was seeing. I can very much see him with a top 20 come week's end. Another guy, Stuart Sink, he's a 2-time winner on this wraparound season. He's late 40s. It's incredible. This is a course I think that would fit him really well. Top 20 is like, I just don't expect him to play that well, and I think he's going to finish top 20. So that's kind of one of those bets. And then obviously Vince Whaley. I mean, I love this bet. I'm not going to stop betting Vince Whaley for top 10s until he starts finishing for top 20 until he starts finishing top 10. And then I'll start betting him for winners. So that is my perfect portfolio.
Amanda sounds just like me with Victor Hovland. Every time Victor Hovland golfs, I bet it. I can't stop it. It's just, I can't. He's an Oklahoma State guy. I live in Oklahoma. I can't stop betting Victor Hovland. But
and then he gets sand in his eye before his round, and you see where I went there because I was so high on him going into the U.S. Open. Someone who had success as an amateur at the U.S. Open, has been not afraid of the big stage early on in his career, and just a really tough break from an injury, whatever happenstance perspective there.
It's going to happen. We know that. We all know that it's like, just keep putting money in the bank on Victor Hovland. It's like Colin Morikawa got hot and won us all a bunch of money. Victor Hovland's time is coming. I promise.
But he's won twice, and he already won again this year. So he's broken the Puerto Rico curse. Like, I think, next year he's going to definitely contend for some majors.
He's got the most lovable social media ever too. I can't.
He's such a nice person. Like, you really can't say a bad word about Victor Hovland.
So for my perfect portfolio, in place of Jason, I'm going to go with a couple of quick bets, and then I'm going to get into a big one that might actually surprise a few people. I'm going to say Kevin Streelman, top 20 at plus 150. Guy who's had a ton of success here. Course just matches up. He likes it here. Brendan Todd, same thing. You do not need to be a bomber to play here. You need to be accurate. You need to be able to hit from short range out with your wedges from anywhere from 100 in on your approach. Joaquin Niemann, top 5 plus 650. I think Niemann is due for a big week here. And then I'm going to get to the one I really want to talk about. Brooks Koepka, miscut, plus 275. And I think what triggered all this is an interview that he cut right after the major this past weekend where he said, my brother and I are going to be playing together. And whenever Chase plays and I play together, I'm stressing out. I'm always looking at the leaderboard. I'm always wondering how Chase is doing. I have to have an update after every shot about my baby brother and how my baby brother's doing. Brooks loves his brother. So I started doing a little bit of a deep dive on Brooks. And, there's a narrative out there, and I like my money. So I don't play narratives. I play numbers. And Brooks is a guy you bet in majors, not a guy you play when he's not playing in a major. So we're not doing a major this week. And if you look at him at the last 4 PGA events following a major, he has missed the cut. But the real handicap about him playing with his brother, let's take a look at the last 3 times Brooks and Chase Koepka have played in the same tournament. The 2023 M Open, Chase finishes 26th, Brooks miscut. 2020 Workday, Chase miscut, Brooks miscut. 2019 Shriners, Chase 67th, Brooks missed cut. He hasn't made a cut when he's played with his brother.
And a lot of the time too, when Chase gets these starts, a lot of it's like, okay, we're going to give Chase a start if you show up. So Brooks just like these weeks, he's here for Chase, he's not here for Brooks. So like he was saying earlier this week, I literally heard him saying earlier this week to someone, like, I don't really want to be here. Like, I'm not doing anything this week. Like, we'll see what happens. So I like that miscut prop a lot for this week.
Plus impressive double trend you dug up there. I like it. Good
work. Plus 275, and he's having drinks with his brother on a Saturday night playing cards and hanging with the family. I mean, it sounds pretty reasonable to me. So, Justin, what do you have for your perfect portfolio this week?
So I'm going to start with the guys that have a ton of success on this course. He has the best scoring average at this event over the last 10 years. Paul Casey, I've got him to finish in the top 10. Over the last 5 years, he has the best cumulative score to par at the Travelers Championship. 4 top 5 finishes and 6 career starts. It's just a slam dunk for me, especially coming off how strong he was on the weekend of the U.S. Open after struggling in rounds 1 and 2, barely making the cut. Casey to top 10. The next guy, you talked about how you don't like narrative. I don't really like narrative either, but it's a big time in Ricky Fowler's life announcing he's about to be a parent. I'm more into the way he's played the last 2 times. He's teed it up 11th and 8th in his last 2 starts. We know what his ceiling is. There's a reason why he's in all those damn commercials, all right? It's because he's at his best. He's one of the best players in the world. He's not quite there yet, but I really like his form. I think he's going to top 10 this week. So I've got him for a top 10. I'm with Amanda on Stuart Sink. Top 20 is a great value for him. A 2-time winner of this event. He's been playing here since the mid-90s, playing here since, Garrick Higo was in diapers, basically. 7th on the PGA Tour in greens and regulation this season. I think it's great value for him. Guy who's won 2 times on the PGA Tour in addition to his past success in Connecticut. And the other guy I have, Mackenzie Hughes, nearly won this tournament last year. Played great last week, seemingly coming out of nowhere off 5 or 6 consecutive missed cuts. Was tied for the 54-hole lead, struggled on Sunday, kind of came back to earth. But I think he's going to be able to take that momentum from a good week at Torrey Pines. And I've got Mackenzie Hughes top 20.
Yeah, it is narrative street about the fatherhood for Fowler, but as a father of 2 sons, the power of having children, like as a dad, you feel like you can conquer the world. And for Rory's game, it was a little bit, it's really hard. The baby thing, Gary Woodland, Rory, we always have to track who's got babies on the way and how their game is doing. So let's move.
I'm a new dad, and I mainly just feel like I need sleep.
Yes, I remember that too. I actually thought, being a new father was fun and I needed some sleep. But once they start moving around and climbing on top of ovens and refrigerators, then it gets a little worse. Let's talk about TPC River Highlands, located just south of the metropolis of Hartford. Best known for Hartford University making March Madness and losing to the national champions Baylor's. Oh, they're also known for having a team called the Yard Goats, which I tweeted out a couple weeks ago. What is the best minor league baseball name? The Hartford Yard Goats, way up there with the Trash Pandas, I think. This course plays. Yeah, this course plays. I love the Trash Pandas.
I will also nominate. I have a sweet El Paso Chihuahuas hat with a Chihuahua swinging a bone as a bat. It's a stellar hat design.
Yeah, if any of our content producers are listening, we're coming up with a new show immediately. This course, listen, it plays short. It has a lot of everything. It has a lot of narrow fairways. It has uphill, downhill lies. It's a par 70, bent grass on the greens, just over 6,800 yards. It feels like a course analytically, Justin, where none of the strokes gained categories are really something that you want to center on as far as maybe driving distance or driving accuracy, around approach, all of that. Can you tell us a little bit more about the Travelers?
Yeah, I think the most telling statistic about this golf course from 2016 to 2020, there are more than 6,000 approach shots from 50 to 125 yards. Only 2 golf courses on the PGA Tour in that stretch had more such approaches, Pebble Beach and Silverado. Pebble Beach, arguably the shortest course in competitive golf, especially in the United States. You're going to see a lot. It's much more of a significance on wedge play, whereas it was basically the opposite at Torrey Pines last week, where long irons are really important. So that's kind of one of the things you need to keep in mind. Look for guys who've got some really positive numbers in terms of proximity and scoring when they're 50 to 125 away, because you're going to see more approaches than normal from that range this week.
And it is possible for someone and I think this is the thing that the average gambler out there, because this is what went through my mind. Bryson can bomb a couple of these par 4s, but that doesn't mean necessarily that he has an easy shot for a birdie or an eagle or anything. I mean, these are some tough approaches, right?
The greens are brutal too. I mean, the undulation on these greens, they're big greens. It's a hard course. I mean, it is the highlands of the river. It is hilly. It is a big course. It's not going to be an easy course. It's a hard course. You got to be on your game.
The question is, have you seen the Yard Goats though? So that's the one thing we'll be looking for.
My ex though.
Yeah.
they weren't around yet during my sentence in Bristol, Connecticut, so I wasn't able to go.
Listen, I saw so many different animals during Kiowa. I was hoping maybe we'd see a Yard Goat during this tournament. So if we're going to talk about previous winners, I mean, you have to have a wide range of skills to win this tournament. And when I say that, I look at previous winners. DJ won this in 2020. Ches Reavie won this. Those are not the same profiles, right? But DJ does everything well. Ches is a grinder, really, not a long hitter. Bubba has won this 2018, 2015, 2010. Lefty goes from right to left. Jordan Spieth has won this. He's not here. Russell Knox has won this. Kevin Streelman, who I mentioned earlier, and Mark Leishman. There's just a lot of players with different skill sets that have won this before.
I'll give you the biggest example, the dichotomy of there's a lot of different ways to succeed on this golf course. 2010, when Bubba Watson, Mr. Bomber, edged out 47-year-old Corey Pavin. That's all you really need to know. There are two different ways to get to the finish line here. There's no real dominant trend in terms of strokes gained average by winners in terms of, usually we'll say, okay, Memorial, it really skews toward approach play, or, Phoenix Open might skew a little bit more towards off the tee. It doesn't really exist here. So it's a nice test, nice balanced test where a lot of different players can be in the mix.
Showing my age here, I think that was a three-way playoff that Pavin, right? It was three, and Pavin lost.
Yeah, Pavin and Bubba were the two I remember.
Let's move on. Let's move on to something that's my favorite thing to do, which is bet a first-round leader. And that, like I said, I like to bet Victor Hovland. For some reason, I'm always betting Harold Varner III to win first round. I don't know why, but this week
I was picking him for a while, probably.
Yeah, I think we all were. I think the whole team was. First round leader contest in golf bet on Twitter this week. Reply or with your favorite first round leader. Tweet us back at Golf Bet, Facebook, Twitter, anywhere, and you can win a free hat from our merch store. Amanda, who do you have as first round leader?
So I am going with Charlie Hoffman, the Seagull man. There's just something about Charlie kind of coming off of these big events that he didn't really play great in the big events, but he can really show up in them. So I like Charlie Hoffman to go out and shoot a 63 on Thursday.
I like it. Justin, what do you have for first round leader?
Amanda even gave us a score. I'm going to go on the opposite side of the age spectrum. Garrick Higo, 3 wins in his last 6 starts, 2 of them coming on really scoreable courses, which is what I expect to see at TPC River Highlands. Guys going low. He won the Canary Islands he shot a zillion under par over there. He's opened with 63, 65, 66, 66 worldwide all in the last couple of months. I expect him to get off to a hot start tomorrow.
Those numbers sound like what I'm about to say for my first round leader, which is Paul Casey at 33-1. And the reason is not only has Paul Casey finished top 5 in this event, and 4 of the 6 times that he's played this, he's never had a first round that wasn't under par. Twice he shot 65 in the first round. In 24 total rounds that he has played on this course at TPC River Highlands, he has shot over 69 just 3 times. He loves this course. So I think 33-1 is pretty good value there.
I like that. Now we're coming up on our favorite part of the show, or just Jason's favorite part of the show, right, Justin?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Got a little DFS.
We got a little DFS here. We got a little DFS lineup, and I had to learn the rules. I tried to start picking, like when I got added to the group, I was like, I'm just going to take this golfer and this golfer. And like, no. There's a process here.
No, we threw the yellow flag pretty quickly.
I got flagged.
It's ingrained in the workflow here between the
So it's time for us to pick our DFS lineup, something we do every week on the Gimme. We'll give you our picks to fill out your ultimate DFS roster for the weekend based on our Fantasy Labs model and tools. I use them every week for every tournament. Amanda, you are hitting leadoff for us. Who do you have?
I'm always going to lead off. I'm taking Bubba Watson, 8,900. Not bad value on a guy who's such a big name in this area, in this field, on this golf course. I love Bubba Watson this week. So 8,900, I'm going to start off with Bubba Watson. And then Justin?
So I think a guy I mentioned earlier has got great value. Ricky Fowler is just 7,300 this week, coming off of 2 really good finishes, as I mentioned earlier, 8th place, 11th place, getting back to playing better golf at the Memorial Tournament. He led the field in average proximity to the hole overall. Ricky Fowler, 7,300, thinks a great price.
Yeah, and my first pick in this was, I really struggled with this because course history really means something to me. And this is somebody that's actually missed the cut, I think, the last 3 times, had success here, then missed the cut a whole bunch of times. But something changed during the pandemic. This player evolved and became a contender in almost every single tournament. And once I saw him play on Sunday, how did Harris English's name all of a sudden pop up on the leaderboard on Sunday? I was like, where did this come from? He finished like 2 hours before everybody else and ended up like in the top 5 towards the end because everybody else started falling. So Harris English is at 8,200. I think he's just a different player. That I think his game has evolved than what it was the couple of times he's missed the cut here before. So Harris English, 8,200 for me.
I like that. I'm going to actually go with Christopher Ventura. So I have a funny story now. My boss, our video department head is named Christina Ventura. She is here with me this week. She was doing something downstairs in the lobby, trying to do something with her room or whatever. And they said, "Oh, Christina Ventura or Christopher Ventura, here, I have a package for you." And they tried to give her like Christopher Ventura's package. So 6,300 this week. He is going to be an absolute firestorm. Is that an expression? Well, it is now on the PGA Tour. I have loved every second of watching him play. He was great in New Orleans. Like, I think he's, now he's going to get more starts in the PGA Tour, and I'm really excited to see him play. I think he's a great value, and I think he is one of those players that's going to start making an impact this summer.
Colin's got another little mistake guy, right? So
yeah. Well, I was about to say that, like, Ventura has won me so much amateur bet money. Like, that name is in this house. He is the next coming of Victor Hovland because there's been so much money on him. So who you got for us, Justin?
So I'm going to go back to the guy we mentioned over and over again, justifiably so. Paul Casey, 9,900. You guys left me some money to spend, so I'm going to go there. Leader or among the leaders of basically every statistical category in this tournament over the last decade. And like I said earlier, you have to love the way he fought back after making the cut on the number of Torrey Pines. So Paul Casey at 9,900.
Yeah, and I think that left me with around 9,000 when we were doing our picks, and I just missed the cut. I wanted Joaquin Niemann. I wanted to get Kevin Streelman into a lineup. I couldn't do it. But remember, always leave some money on the table, because if you're using all of your money, then you can guess that other people are also going to have that exact same lineup because they want to use every single $100 bill that they have in their DFS lineup. Not only that, look for guys that are low owned. Somebody that's going to be low owned. Charlie Hoffman. Amanda's already talked about why she likes him. I'm taking him for our ultimate DFS lineup.
Nice.
Okay.
All right. Now it is time for the wheel, which I'm jealous of because I want it on a college football show. I told Evan immediately when I saw it, I said, why is this not on my football show? The wheel. Ev, the greatest invention in your lifetime. Are you ready to roll the wheel? What do we have on the wheel this week?
Well, listen, we've got all previous winners at the Travelers, and to say this is like the best invention of my life, I don't even know to take that as a compliment or not, but I guess I'll manage it for now.
It's fine.
I was just going to say the betting wheel on all our shows, it's a good invention, but let's spin it. Let's see where we go, and let's start it up. Let's see. All right. And we're nailing on. All right. It's DJ. So let's go to Justin. Who do you like for DJ this week?
So I don't usually like the value in favorites, but I might make an exception for Dustin Johnson this week. Traditionally, he performs really well the week after major championships. He does everything really well, of course. World number one for a reason for a long time. Recently passed by John Rahm. Won this tournament the most important statistic to me for DJ, he won this tournament a year ago, ranked 48th in the field in strokes gained off the tee, which is not something you'd expect to see from a guy who's been so proficient with his driver over the years. So I think I'm a buy on DJ, even though the price is pretty steep.
I kind of found it interesting that you didn't bring him up, or anyone didn't bring him up at all in this show. And he's, near the top of the board. And so nice to hear a little analysis there. All right, let's roll the wheel back. Let's see who's up next. And time for a spin. And we are going to fall on Mark Leishman. So who am I going to give this to? I'll go with Amanda. What do you think about Leishman?
I love Mac Leishman, let me tell you. No, I do. I love the Australians. I love Mark Leishman. I saw him hit a few shots today during the Pro-Am. He's hitting the ball well. He looks like he's happy. He didn't spend too much time at the course after he was done practicing. So I think he was happy with what happened. So I am going to definitely buy Mark Leishman. This is a top 10 finishing course for him, if not top 5. He's been playing so well lately. We saw him and Cam Smith just absolutely kill it at the Zurich. We've seen both of them play well since then. So I absolutely love Mark Leishman this week. I'm going to buy him in US dollars, Australian dollars, Durham's. I don't care. I'm buying him this week.
Amanda loves her kangaroos, so she was obviously going to buy Leishman. So completely understood there. All right, Collin. Let's see who Collin gets on the wheel. It's Phil. Collin, what are you doing with Phil this week?
Well, I hope Phil's not watching because I'm like the biggest Phil fan in the world. I golf every 2 days. I'm a terrible golfer. I've been trying to master a 60-degree wedge for like a year now, and it's not happening. And when I see him doing it, it's, oh my God, I just can't. His skill set is unbelievable. But the problem is his price point is never going to be good ever again because of his past recent win. And now he's turning into such a huge celebrity. Hey, John Rahm's going to win a major. There's Phil next to the baby. That you just can't escape the person. You can't escape the personality. You can't escape a ton of things. But the fact that he just won is his price is never going to be good again. I'm only fading Phil because he's such a public play. This is not a major, not something that probably has his full attention. It is a big party. You've heard Brooks Koepka say this is a big party up there. They treat the players really well. I'm not really sure he's there to win this. So I'm going to take him where I see, value in the number in majors and places where it matters. And this just isn't it. So price point, I'm not going to take Phil. I'm selling.
You're selling Phil. And I like that. And I'm going to tell you that that's a good idea. I watched him hit balls today for about 30 minutes on the range. His driver, he was hitting this like high kind of pushy cut to the where I know he likes to work the ball and he's left-handed. So the ball flight just looks weird. I genuinely wanted to walk up to Tim and say, does he mean to do that? Is he doing that on purpose? Because it was one of the, it just was not a good ball flight. I don't know. Maybe I'm just ignorant and he likes to hit a fucking 50-yard cut, right to right cut, but it was not pretty. So I would not be buying Phil this week at all.
I'm selling him too, but I will say opened with 64, 63 here last year. Just saying.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you, he was not hitting that. I mean, he was hitting the ball not pretty today.
But Justin, how long had it been since he had a win last year? I mean, he just got this win recently, but there was a long dry streak for him as far as, and so I think he was trying to get back to a point. He got there. How comfortable is he now, right?
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, he won at Pebble Beach, place where he's won 6 times. I think that was in 2019. So it's been a little bit before, so a little bit since his win, but like I said, I'm kind of in your boat. I'm going to sell him too, and the price point. The point about the price point was a very, very strong one. I agree with that.
All right, guys. Thank you for the wheel. See y'all later.
Thank you, Evan.
Thank you, Evan. Looking forward to seeing the wheel again when you have Rice football on there. All right. We are going to pivot over to the LPGA winner. Justin is at the Women's PGA Championship this week. Betting on the LPGA, I've actually won some money on this before. You should always read the content we have at Action Network. Josh Perry, Jason Sobel, anything Amanda says, anything Justin says, read it, take it all in, bet it. Justin, who are you going to go with winning this week at the Women's PGA?
So I think Brooke Henderson is criminally undervalued this week. She's coming off a withdrawal and a missed cut, but her sister, who is normally her caddy, was not on the bag for the missed cut. Really impacted her confidence-wise. There was a visa issue with Canada and the United States. She was on the course today. She's back on the bag. I got a great number here looking at my screen. Only NB Park has more rounds in the 60s in major championships since 2018. And Brooke Henderson is at plus 2,800. I think she's a great value.
Wow. Amanda, who are you taking in the Women's PGA Championship?
I am going to go with Nelly Korda, Miss Winner from last week. I just think she's so amazing. I just can't wait to see what she does in her career. The value's not great on her, obviously, because she's depending on the book, she's going to be outright. But I love Nelly Korda and I was going to say I was at the KPMG last fall when they had in October because it was my neck of the woods at Aronimink. So it's so crazy that if they're already playing it again, now Justin's down there in Atlanta, it blows my mind. The whole COVID schedule, everything just messes up your brain.
Nelly's a superstar, that's for sure.
Maybe.
Yeah. Absolutely. I had to go with a little trend history, somebody that's hot, somebody that's won in the state of Georgia. I went with Allie Ewing, and she just finished top 6 in the latest LPGA event. We are less than a month from when she won the LPGA match play at Shadow Creek. She is super hot right now. And if you look at the last time an LPGA event was in Georgia, last October, she won. So at 35-1 odds, you can count me in on Allie Ewing. Let's take a look at the.
My man came in and pitched shit, and he dug deep.
I only wanted to get approval from Jay Ray, with some of the research that I did for this. And, when you have to go to Allie Ewing and Chase Koepka to get it, you got to dig deep. So if we look at the BetMGM markets, we see the ticket count right now, the highest tickets, Brooks Koepka pulling in 6.3%. That's more tickets than anybody. That tells you, we're kind of fading him here on the show. So Bryson DeChambeau, of course, is pulling 5.8%. He's second in ticket count. Scotty Scheffler Surprisingly, Scotty Scheffler, 5.8%, with some of the names in this field and top heavy. Before I say the highest handle, Justin, would you have guessed that Scotty Scheffler was in the top 3 in ticket count?
Maybe not top 3 in ticket count. I can see why someone might like him this week. Course comp that I think is pretty apt is where they hold the WGC match play in Austin. Kind of a shorter venue. That's what Austin Country Club plays as match play. I could see some value there for Scotty, but that high, I don't know. 3rd highest in ticket count. Kind of speaks, though, to how popular he is and how close he really is to breaking through and getting that first PGA Tour win. He
is somebody when I've got money down on a course and I'm always thinking to myself, oh my gosh, Scotty Scheffler, please don't get hot. You're going to take all my money away. So we're going to go to the highest handle. Now the handle percentage is how much money is on a golfer. 9.6% of the money, BetMGM on DJ, of course, right? The clubhouse leader, Bryson DeChambeau, comes in next at 8.3%. Abraham Answer. So we're not talking about ticket account. We're talking about the amount of money. BetMGM, 3rd is Abraham Answer. Amanda, any of those names surprise you, shock you?
No, Abraham Answer. I mean, he finished tied for 11th, the players last year. He has just been so close so many times. He's going to win soon. Granted, he was having some hip and back issues today. He was with his physio for like 40 minutes. Like he was in there for a really long time. So, I don't know how well he feels, especially coming off of the U.S. Open last week. But I love Abraham Answer. I will not fade Abraham Answer until he gives me a reason to fade him. So I absolutely understand the confidence that the bettors have on him right now, just with how he's been playing.
Answer tied for 3rd in birdie average this tournament the last 3 years.
That might explain why there's so much money coming in on him. So with that, we're going to go ahead and sign off. Do not forget to partake in the first round leader contest at GolfBet. Mention GolfBet. Tweet at us, Facebook at us. Get entered into the contest. Sponsored by BetMGM. Thank you for watching. And in my best Jason Sobel impression, we'll catch you next time on the green. Thanks for having me, guys.